All right, everyone. I am super excited because the first guest that I have on my podcast is my very, very good friend, Amanda Cass, Kick It Like Cass. I would love for you to introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself, and then we can get right into talking.
All right. Yep. My name's Amanda Cass. You can catch me on my all my channels. Kick it like Cass. My background is I'm a martial artist. I've been doing martial arts for about 25 years now. I'm a mom, so I have a 13-year-old daughter as well, and I am now a stunt woman. So I'm a SAG-AFTRA stunt woman, and I've known Ange for the last, I think, almost 5 years now.
Yeah, she's very modest about all this stuff on here. It's like not only you're basically like a super mom, like basically a super mom of a superhero stunt double. And what I wanted to definitely talk about today on this podcast is again, Bandit and I have known each other for years, and this is like before like we accomplished so many different things. And the one thing I remember is when I met Amanda Cass was when we were actually at a ninja competition and I was actually dating this guy at the time. And I remember like you were friends with him. And I
Yep.
was like, oh, I'm like, she has to come out to dinner with us. Like we're going, all right. Like there was something about like you that I was like, we need to hang out. And when we sat down at the table, I remember just like, nope, I'm sitting next to Amanda. And it was like since then, like there was just something about like her energy and things like that that I just felt really like connected with. And I remember us just she would come after I would teach at my gym like all night. She would come super late and we would sit down and we would work out super late at night, do her stunt drills, even though I wasn't doing stunts. And we would really talk about life and what we wanted our life to look like. So I would love for you to chat a little bit about that and about maybe that part of your life where you were just like, okay, I know I want to do this something, and maybe you weren't really sure what to do, but maybe the ways that we were able to get there and kind of do them together and have this crazy vision together.
All right. Yeah. So I would say at that point in my life was like drastically changing kind of quickly. That was, I met you a few months after I had done Ultimate Beastmaster. And when I had gone there, I had met so many people doing like incredible things. So when I came home, I had this like renewed energy and I was like, well, all these people are Olympians, dancers, circus artists, stunt performers, actors. They were all just doing things that aren't your traditional normal 9 to 5, which growing up, that's mainly what I saw. A lot of people would probably have been like, oh, you want to be a stunt woman? How are you going to do that? That's, a lot of people to this day, unless they really talk to you, they don't realize that it's an actual career.
Also,
So,
Ultimate Beastmaster, in case some of you guys don't know this on here, it is basically like a ninja warrior type of show that was on Netflix. I thought it was like a little bit cooler with some of the some of the things that they did on there. So if some of you guys don't know that, also I would love for you to tell them like what was your job? Like before you were a stunt woman, like what were you doing?
yeah. So before I started professionally doing stunts, I was actually an in-home therapist for kids who have autism. So I went from like this normal 9 to 5 life, graduated college, was working with kids to a point where I was like, well, if I want to do this, I have to do it now. So I kind of came home with that renewed energy and started meeting people like Ange and, just other stunt performers and stuff. So once you start meeting people doing what you want to do, you're like, well, maybe this door is cracking open a little bit. The way I always describe it is I don't have a spaceship to get to the moon. I have to build my spaceship to get there. So what are the pieces of the spaceship that I need to be able to do what I want to do? And yeah, at that time, me and Angela would just meet up and would shoot stuff together, would train together, would sit down and with cute little notebooks writing out our goals. So that was like a big change in my life right around that time. So I'm like grateful that
I think super
we
cool that
crossed
too that
paths.
you were saying that like you were with when you got on Ultimate Beastmaster, you started seeing the possibilities and seeing the different types of ways that people can do things. And if anyone's listening on here too, if there's something that you want to do, believe it or not, you probably can make it a career. Like we're at a place where we can do that. And I feel like so for so long, all of us maybe been held back by that, maybe by fear or maybe by like money, right? Because he think having this stable job is gonna, you know, make everything better and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I also think that since you saw that, and then being around people who want to help you get there and have that vision together, you know, your environment, the people you hang out with, that's really, I've seen, like, as I've been growing older, the people that you hang out with really are what drive you towards wherever you want to go.
Yeah, the company you keep is huge and pivotal in where your life is heading. You know, you always want to be around the people you always have a bond with, and maybe you won't do great things with them, but they're like your support network. But then you do have to find those people. So I'm talking with my hands. um, those other people that have a bigger vision, and you're able to kind of collaborate together to get to where you're headed. It's so
For sure.
important.
Do you
Surround yourself with the people doing what you want to do, and then you slowly, make your way into that.
Absolutely. And I definitely felt like before hanging out with you and before hanging out with certain other people, I just always felt like, yeah, like maybe like in this box a little bit. And just I always felt like I didn't really fit in, or I didn't really understand. So it was so nice to have a friend like you who like understood that I had these big visions and these big things. And you weren't just so like, no, we're gonna stay in this norm, or like we're just gonna keep partying and drinking and doing these things. And I'm like, no, I don't want that anymore. Like I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to see things. I want to meet people.
Hmm.
Ooh, I know what I want to chat about now. And then Amanda and I decided to go away together.
Oh, yep, yep.
It's so
Our
funny. I feel like
traincation.
Traincation, which I still own that website, because we were like, this is awesome. We like accidentally did this. Like it just like was an accidental adventure training situation where we're meeting all these people. But I
Mhm.
remember I was training, I had a ninja competition in Atlanta, Georgia. That's actually where a lot of stunt things are happening right now. It's like pretty big over there. And I don't exactly remember how it came up, but I was like, yeah, the flights from Atlanta, Georgia to LA are like super cheap. I'm like, we should just go and just do it. I think that's like what happened. I'm not fully sure. But maybe we can talk a little bit about that and like what that turned into, because I kind of just forgot about that until right now.
Yep, yep. No, that was a lot of fun. So at that point, I wasn't doing stunts professionally yet. I was still working the normal 9 to 5. I think I ended up also like picking up shifts on like Uber to be able to pay for all of it. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. And you called me one day, you're like, let's go, let's just do this. And I was like, sure, let's go. I'm gonna make it work however I need to. So I ended up like driving for Uber and making extra money so that I could afford to go. And we were gone for what, 10 or a couple of weeks, right?
We were gone
I
for a
think.
while.
Yeah, we were gone for a bit.
And it
Yeah,
was
so we
totally
went and
not, we
we
had no
trained with
idea what
some
we were
people
doing.
in Atlanta. And then we went out to LA and networked and trained. And some days I'd do my own thing, some days she'd do her own thing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just kind of like went with it. And I think that like sometimes you realize too, like there's certain friends I've traveled with where I'm like, I can't travel with you ever again. And then I trained with Amanda, and it was such a different world of like, this is so freaking easy. Like it is so easy because again, we had the same vision and we had the same support for one another. If you know, she was like, I want to go do this. And I was like, I'm like, I actually want to do this instead. It wasn't a big deal. But I want to start in Atlanta. We were in Atlanta. We actually stayed with one of her stunt friends. And what was super cool about it is that he was just so welcoming and teaching us all these new things as beginners. I mean, this guy has been on so many shows. I mean, he's a well, he's a big dude, actually, like a very big, like tall, whatever dude, but he's also very big in the industry. He's been in very big films. And the fact that he welcomed us like with open arms into his place, he let me and Amanda stay in his bed, and he stayed upstairs, believe it or not. And he took us to all these gyms and introduced us to all the people and taught us all sorts of things. He was teaching us falls. He was teaching, again, I think it's really cool to see that people are willing to help. People are willing to like to help
I do
guide you to the
too.
right
And
direction.
I definitely, yeah, no, I never forget all the people that have kind of helped me on this journey and have done it in just like the nicest way possible, whether it's inviting me to something to come out and train or just putting my name in for stuff. There's a lot of good people that are willing to help you get where you want to go. You just have to find them. You have to find the right people because there's other people that are not, unfortunately. You have to kind of sift out all the different personalities and figure out who you connect with and in order to kind of get where you're going and see if you guys can either collaborate or learn from each other, or one person teach the other person. So yeah, no, that was such an amazing experience. And even when we went out to LA, I had a friend here who told me all the people to get in contact with, and we were just able to get in a lot of good training and
We were training
networking.
all the time. We were literally like every day we had something that we were going to train for, going to check out people we were meeting. And I also think that you just said, like, you obviously have to find the right people, but also being a really good person yourself, because those people remember that. Like everybody remembers. They remember if they were teaching you something and how grateful you were, how gracious you were. They remember if you were a total asshole. So
Yeah.
we definitely got to like really meet some really great people that I think that really helped. Definitely helped, I think, in your pursuit to your career of getting, into all these big stunt gigs and stuff like that. For me, with my confidence of being like, oh, like actually, like I can be in this industry and I can do this. I shot with some of the big, like some big photographer in Malibu while I was there. And it was really the hustle, but man, I felt so alive during that trip, and just knowing that all these possibilities are there and that this is a life
Yeah.
that we can live. And I think that really opened the door for both of us to what was next. Now, I would love to talk about the stunt career again. We went on our traincation. This is before you were like getting bigger and stunts and stuff like that. Really starting, I mean, she really started from the bottom. Like nobody knew who you were, and you had this dream
Yep.
of like, I want to not like a bigger stunt double, but a well-known, respected stunt double. And she always had these dreams of that. Like, what do you think started actually even leading that and even more after that trip?
I think the hustle, like we talked about, if you want something, you can't just manifest it and or just say it and write down a goal. You do have to take action steps to get where you want to head. So for me, it was working extra side jobs, driving my butt to New York all the time to go train with people and network with people and meet people. Any training that would come up or session, I would make sure I was there, because when you're a beginner in something, if you want to progress faster or just get more knowledge quicker, you got to go to everything. You got to show up. You have to show up for yourself, and you have to show up for like not your team, but the other people trying to do what you want to do too. If you put things off and put things off, you're not going to get where you want to go. So for me, it was that. It was, driving down to New York all the time. I was going like every other weekend to meet people, train, shoot test fights. And same thing, always on the move, always figuring out the next step in your goal.
And
That's
and I
kind of,
remember you were also doing like, you were going on some shoots because the hustle, like we're saying the hustle, but like that's like what it's called when you're doing stunts. Like it's actually called like you got to do the hustle to get into
yeah,
it. Like, and again,
yeah.
and people might just like, oh, hustling. No, no, no. Like you have to do the hustle. You have to meet the right people. I'm pretty sure, weren't you going on certain sets and like, not like working for free, but just like there kind of helping out type of thing to be there, right? You had to do
So
something along
you
those
have
lines.
like the term the hustle, and when everybody thinks of that, it's just like working hard, doing your thing. Yeah, in stunts, well, we can't because of the pandemic right now, but yeah, you do have to actually like try and find the coordinators and give them your stuff. That's the other side of like hustling. But
Meeting the right people.
being a stunt performer, it's sort of like freelancing in a way. You have to treat it like a business at the end of the day and make sure you're doing the right things to progress your career.
Yeah. And I love hearing this in all different types of ways, right? So Amanda and I, we had both very different goals. Like my goal was not to be a stunt double. Like I loved it. It was fun. I loved having fun and learning how to fight and do that stuff like that. But my goal wasn't that. My goal was something different. But we both were able together to succeed because we had this extra drive. We had that, like, we're going to hustle. We're going to meet the right people. We're going to do what we have to do. Like, we're going to figure it out. Cause you're right. If you do want something, like you have to go out and get it. Nobody, and I learned this a ton from all the stuff that I was doing with modeling. It's like nobody knows who the hell you are. They don't. They're not going to find you. They're not coming to find you. That happens like once in a blue moon. You have to put yourself in front of them over and over again and be like, I know I can do this type of thing. And I had to do that with on Instagram. Like when it first came out, like I was tagging Women's Health, Oxygen for months, annoying the shit out of them, probably like, because I'm like, I wanted them to see who, like, I was there. Like, At one point, I figured they're going to find me. They're going to see me. I emailed everybody I could find on the list I didn't even know who they were. I just like, I'm going to email out everybody I found on these lists so they can kind of like, somebody might respond or whatever like that. It's doing that and putting yourself in that. And she did the same exact thing with stunts. It was like, I'm going to put myself in front of these people. I'm going to email coordinators. I'm going to meet coordinators, and I'm going to keep having myself in front of there. And they might say no multiple times before they say yes.
Yep. And in my industry, your industry, you're going to hear no a lot. So you have to kind of have thick skin and be able to just, all right, not this one, the next one. You know, me and Angela are on like same parallel paths. Like we're both trying to climb, but we're just on slightly different career paths. But within the industries that we're in, you know, you're going to hear no a lot. So you have to put yourself out there and be, what's the term? Comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Because otherwise, you know, you want to fail multiple times before you succeed. Like that's just how it goes. You gotta hear the no's. You gotta, you know, realize you need to build skills, whether it's like speaking, like what we're doing right now, or physical skills, or staying in shape. It's just so huge.
It really is. Yeah. And again, like you said, like it's saying no. Yeah. I've gotten rejected so many times, rejected, not answered. People don't answer. I follow up, just keep following up. I just keep doing it. And I don't know when it's going to come around. You don't know when it's going to work for you. And there was a quote that someone said to the other day, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. Honestly, if you are consistent and you keep pushing towards your goal that you want, it's not a matter of if, it's going to happen. It's going to happen for you. It's just a matter of when. And are you like, especially at the time when you feel like you want to give up and you feel like no one's ever going to say yes to you, that's when you especially have to keep going, because it normally happens like right after that. Now, when did you first get like your bigger stunt gig, and like what was that like?
I wouldn't say like one or the other, you know. I would say this past, well, we had the pandemic, and I was lucky, like things actually started picking up for me in 2020 during the pandemic. But this last year, I would consider this last year like my first real solid, like full-time stunt woman year. I've had a lot of great opportunities, and it's cool because with this podcast coming out, like a bunch of stuff is starting to trickle out. Don't Look Up, where I got to double Ariana Grande, and also do a riot scene in Boston, which is a lot of fun. Cobra Kai comes out the end of this month, Mother Android. So there's a bunch of stuff coming out. You can check my IMDb. But I would say like this past year has been like a lot of growth for me, and a lot of all the work I put in for the last 4 or 5 years has really kind of come to fruition at this time. So I'm super grateful.
Did you hear that? 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. I think everyone always thinks like this instantaneous success. Like they're probably going to see your videos and they come out and you're finally like, yep, I started in this, because they have to keep hush hush about it until it actually comes out. But it's like, they might think to her, oh, well, she just had it easy. Like she just got it. Like, no, she didn't. She worked these years in order to get there. That's what you have to realize. It's not going to be instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's really important that you really enjoy your journey.
Yes.
You've got to enjoy the journey, because it's the end goal, right? You finally got the gig. Amazing. Like it probably feels amazing, but enjoying the ride to get there, enjoying the failures, enjoying all that stuff. That's the stuff that actually really matters. And it's less of like the actual end goal. And I felt the same way when I got my cover of my magazine. I was like so excited that I got it. Great. But I've always, I mean, of course I wanted more like after that. And it was like, did I enjoy the process of getting there? And I did. And I realized that like that person that was on the cover now is actually a better version of what I like. If I would have gotten it years ago, I wasn't at the version of myself that I wanted to be yet. I needed to go through all those failures and those ups and those downs and stuff like that before that one thing happened, and enjoy the journey. And getting there is just a perk. It's just like an extra, you know?
Right. Well, I always say to people, like, if something comes easy, you don't appreciate it as much. But if you had to work hard for something, once you get there or get closer, or, you know, because we're the type of people that you make a goal for yourself, and then next year that goal has either been accomplished or you've moved further on beyond that. So you're constantly trying to progress yourself. But if something comes so easy, you don't appreciate it as much. It's the things that are hard that you're like, wow, I did that. I can't believe I did that, you know. But if something's
Exactly.
easy, you're just like, oh yeah, I did that. You know,
Yeah,
at
you're
least
right.
that's true the truth for me. You know, any of my life experiences that were hard that I was able to accomplish, you know, like getting through college as a teen mom, like that was super hard, but I did it. I have a degree. Like, not that I use it now because I'm not in those fields anymore, but it wasn't easy to work, take care of my kid, and go to school, you know, at like 18, 19 years old. So that was another thing that I'm so proud that I did it, because most teen moms quit. So
This is a prime example also of that, of the fact that, here Amanda is as a single mom, still going for her goal of, again, this job that is very different from the traditional job. And she just went for it. And I remember telling her, I think I've told you this like numerous times, I was like, your daughter is so lucky because she's seeing you put the hustle in for something that is like bigger, and not just kind of again conforming and be like, well, I'm just going to be a mom now and I'm just going to do this. So if anyone else here is listening too, and you're a mom right now and you think that like your dreams or your life is over, it's not. You can still accomplish that. And your kids are watching, and it is going to help them also be like, oh, I can do it too. Like, look at my mom, like going to hustle and going to do this stuff, like, and making it happen. Now, what is
yeah,
possible for me? Like, I feel like
I
it's such
think
a big thing.
that's huge. You know, showing our daughters or sons or, you know, whoever is in your life. It might even be a niece or nephew, that you can accomplish these big goals. I remember, and this wasn't my parents, but I had a family member that when I told them I was pregnant when I was 18, they said, I thought you were going to be the one person in this family to do something with your life. And that quote, I never forgot it. I've never, like, I think about it quite frequently actually, because I was like, all right, you know, and this family member now, this is obviously like 13 years later, 14 years later, but is now like one of my biggest supporters. But at that time, like that quote in my head, I was like, okay, you know, because a lot of people think that, and a lot of people are super judgmental if you're a young mom, that you can't attain your goals, your life is over. So this, I guess this message is to young moms or any moms that aren't sure if they can accomplish something. You totally can. Just go for it.
Your circumstances, they don't define you. Like, I feel like people always fall victim to the like, just falling victim to the whole entire thing. Well, this happened to me and I'm not going to be able to do this. It's like, don't fall victim to that, and don't let your circumstances determine what your life could be like, because
Mhm.
there's so many people who are fight like Amanda right here, just showing you that like you can fight through that and still do all the things that you wanted to do. It's again not going to be easy. It's going to be different. It's going to be hard. It's going to be all of those things, but it is not
Yep.
impossible. And I think just giving people the
Yep.
hope for those types of things is like really, really important. Um,
Yeah, I
I know,
think we
yeah.
need transparency in women who have like been through stuff, in order to, you know, I've read some like self-help books, and some of the stories of different people that have accomplished things help. It's relatable. It makes you feel like, well, they did it, maybe I can do it too, you know, and we need more stories like that. So
Absolutely. And I think that's like part of the reason that like I was able to thrive with some certain things, like the hard times that I had. I remember people being like, oh, she's still going. They would say that to me like on Instagram or something. And I'm like, I have to keep going now for real. Cause like, it's like, even though I was doubting myself, even though I never thought that I could actually, I mean, you probably felt the same, right? Like some part of you was like, this is probably never going to happen, but I'm just going to keep going anyway. Like, like it's like you're in your brain,
yep.
you're like, I don't really
Well,
know if this is actually going to happen for me. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to keep on trying.
right,
Um,
the time passes regardless, so you might as well do something with it, you know. Like,
mhm.
I could have let this last 4 or 5 years pass and just not do this stuff, or I could have just plucked away at it. So, you know, your time's going to pass whether you're doing something with it or not. So, I think to make your life enjoyable, you might as well do something that you enjoy.
So yeah, I really think that like this episode is definitely a prime example for you going for your dreams, figuring out what those dreams are, surrounding yourself with the right people, the people that have those dreams. If you're around people right now who are bringing you down, if you're around people right now who don't have similar aspirations and goals as you might need to rethink that your environment and who you're around. Not doesn't mean they don't need to be in your life forever, right? But surround yourself with the people who are trying to get there, wherever that there is for you. Surround yourself with those people. And I've had to really but I guess kind of I've had to really like stay away from and set my boundaries with a lot of people who weren't helping me become the best version of myself. And you can have that support system here, just like I found with Amanda. There's a lot of people out there. So I don't want you guys to ever give up on your goals because of your circumstance. I want you to realize that it is possible. It's going to be hard. You have to put yourself out there and you have to put in the work. It's not going to just come to you. It's just, again, like when people say manifesting, so I think some people think like, I'm just going to sit here and picture it in my head. And it's going to happen right now. Here we go. No,
I want it. Money.
Here we go. Money. Oh, it's in my hands. No, it does not happen like that. And again, it's just, yeah. So anything else that you would like to add, Amanda? I'm so happy that this is like the first one because I feel like you and I have the best conversations. We had a vision board meetup the other day. Basically, we went through our goals. We went through where we're at now, where we want to be, how do we get there? And we just had discussions about it, which was really great. And it was in different categories of our life. And just to have somebody, and her and I have been actually doing this similar type of thing for like,
like every year or every few months or so, I'd say like maybe quarterly. Sometimes we do this where we just hop on a call or, before when she was closer, we just get together in person and figure out where are we going? How do we get there? And, who are the people we need to be around?
Absolutely. And again, it's just been really so helpful. Is there anything you want to add before we tune out again, and remind everybody where they can find you if they want to check in on your journey, or maybe they have questions about stunts, maybe they were thinking about getting stunts, I don't know.
Yeah, you can find me. All of my social medias are Kick It Like Cass, K for kick and then C for Cass. That's pretty much it. I mean, I think this covers a lot, just if you're trying to accomplish something, put in the work and enjoy the journey and, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and failing is a part of the process. So, we all do it. We don't always show it though, because, Instagram's like a highlight reel of the good things we do. And, but, we're all vulnerable people. So just also be a good person.
Just be a fucking good person. I mean, that really goes such a long ass way. People will remember you, like, again, along these types of journeys, they'll literally be like, oh, well, she was really cool and she was great to hang out. She helped me with that one thing. Just be a freaking good person. It's not that hard. Anyways, I'm so happy that again that I was able to have you.
Don't lose yourself in what you're trying to do. Never lose yourself in what you're trying to do.
Oh, I love that. So if you have any questions for Amanda or me, feel free to message us. We're here to help. And I'm hoping that these episodes, again, just help you in some version, in some way in life. If there is something that really, really resonated with you, please make sure you let us know again, or tell us your story. I love when people message me like, oh, I love this part of your story because I'm here, and there. Like, I love that because that is showing that what we were doing here is really helping. So thanks so much for being on here, Amanda. And I will see you all soon.